I was trying to come up with a your mom joke for space. I didn't have
It takes
one.
up a lot of space, like
Your
your mom. Just complete headfirst dive into Haunted Cosmos, like when they were talking about
Oh
the pyramid.
gosh, those guys crack me up so bad with the your mom jokes.
It's hilarious because sometimes I will be in tears laughing,
Yeah.
and then the other times I was like, "Can you just get on with the story, please?" It's like
There are
it's like
there are some times where they spend way too much time on like your mom jokes and stuff and
Yeah.
trying to like hash that out, and I'm like, okay, just move on. I want to hear the rest of the story. But some of the times, like they hit some key moments where one guy will say something, and he's like, oh, it's just like your mom. I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, because it's so nonchalant. But then when one of them starts like realizing what they said, knowing it completely opens the door for your mom joke.
You could hear him pause. Like,
Yeah,
he's just like, I'm just gonna wait for it.
Yeah. Like I'm accepting it as an inevitability.
Just go ahead and do it. That's hilarious.
So, talking about things that we've mentioned in past episodes and things like that.
Yeah, because my memory's really good.
Oh, yeah, of course. Same. If you were a breakfast... No, I'm just kidding.
I hate you. Bacon, though. Extra crispy.
Yeah, the sausage, gravy, and biscuits. So, as of recently, as of recording yesterday, you had the successful re-entry of Artemis 2.
Yeah.
So I was kind of doing some, because we were talking about it at work.
They saw the backside of the moon.
Yeah. And
the moon's butt, if you will.
The thing that I was thinking, because
the moon's butt is not as big as your mom.
Hey. That moon backside. Anyway, do you know how much money NASA has spent since the inception of NASA?
Oh my gosh, man. What an astronomical number that has to be. Like,
like your mom.
All the puns intended.
So NASA has spent over $1.9 trillion.
Jeez, dude.
And that was since 2025. So all the way up from NASA's inception to 2025. So
you keep talking. I want to do like a real quick math thing over here on my computer.
Yeah. So in nominal dollars, the total is roughly $650 billion across its history. So NASA's budget for fiscal year 2026 is about $24.4 billion. Actually down from $24.8 billion last year. So we're reducing spending. So we're cutting the fat there. So, but like I said, and that is adjusted for inflation.
Okay.
So the 1.9 trillion is adjusted for inflation.
So that's like,
yeah. So they spend roughly $24 to $35 billion a year. So I was looking at Artemis 2 because a couple of years ago when we were down at COSI in the planetarium, they had like this whole thing about Artemis 2. And honestly, I completely forgot about it. But the thing that I was looking at and kind of remembering is they didn't go up in like a traditional space shuttle like Discovery or like an actual space. It was more likened to the old Apollo missions style capsule.
Because there was, if you guys didn't see it, you should go look at the size of the actual like capsule like ship that they took around the moon and back.
Yeah.
Because like same thing, right? Like I was thinking like, oh, they went up in a
traditional space shuttle that we would think of today.
They went up in a shuttle, there's space, there's like a bunk area, kind of stuff like that.
The bay.
This thing that they were in is like it's like a glorified bathroom.
Oh,
it was tiny.
For sure. And it was, so there was a 10-day flight, splashed down on the California coast yesterday as of recording. And it was really funny because they were doing like the spacewalks and everything like that, like outside, just to, take a trip.
Because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you're stuck in that little thing, you want to get outside too.
The reason why I wanted, I just need to go out for some air.
I need some space. I get it, some space. Hey.
But it was really funny because I saw a little like clip, and again, it was on Facebook. I don't know if it was fully accurate or what it is. And one of the astronauts said, I used to think that I was afraid of heights, but in all reality, I'm afraid of gravity.
Yeah, that's
as he was doing the spacewalk, because like you're as high as anybody has ever been.
I'm sure I've worn it out with plenty of people in my lifetime, but I tell people that every time they say something about being afraid of heights. I'm like, you're not afraid of heights. You're afraid of the sudden stop at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Good old Newton's second law.
Sure.
Whichever one says that an object in motion will tend to stay in motion. Yeah. It's not the fall that kills you, it's the stop at the end.
And then there's my favorite, that everything is heading towards chaos.
Right.
So the mixture of everything heading towards chaos and the fact that you're going to stop at the bottom of that fall.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things, you don't need you didn't need a parachute to go skydiving.
Yeah.
You need a parachute to go skydiving twice.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, I was thinking, because Artemis 3 was scheduled for next year, and that's more of a lunar docking station. Because the purpose of the Artemis missions is to set up a lunar launch point on the moon, lunar. Right. But to eventually travel to Mars.
Yeah.
And that's kind of because... The trajectory.
Which I beg the question again.
Why?
But sure.
Because, $1.9 trillion, $2 trillion.
So I do want to put this in perspective, though, because when you said $1.9 trillion, I was like, geez Louise. But if you put it in perspective, so this is since, the 70s when NASA was founded, right?
No, because we landed on the moon in 69.
So, early 60s then. But still, over that period of time, 60s until now, 60 something years, that $1.9 trillion divided out by the number of Americans that there are in our country today is only $5,000 per person.
Why in my brain was like, oh, that's not that bad.
It's not that bad. That's what I'm saying is in the grand scheme of things, when you think about all that NASA has discovered and all the things they have done and stuff like that, when you spread it out over 60 years and it's $5,000, I mean, the reality is we're $10 a year for NASA to do their thing. I'm kind of I think I'd chip in $10 a year over that course of time to
for
see
just $10 you can send one astronaut.
Listeners, right now, if you'll just go ahead and donate $10 to the NASA fund, we will take you to space one day.
This is NPR.
And then you can see just how big your mom is.
It's not actually the moon's gravitational pull, it's your mom.
Your mom's so fast she jumped up in space and got stuck.
It actually wasn't a solar eclipse a couple years ago. Your mom just went outside.
Oh, there we go. Jeez Louise.
So, speaking of your mom...
your mom's belt size is equator.
I have a would you rather question that deals with... it could deal with this anyway.
You know I love a good would you rather.
Would you rather have the power to change one event in history or one event in your own life?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
One event in human history. Because the hard part about this is the thing that we've talked about so many times of the butterfly effect, right?
Our past, directly affects.
Yeah, who you are today is a result of everything that's happened in your past.
Right.
So it's do I want to dink with that? I mean, if I knew for sure that there was one strategic point in my past that maybe I could have invested $100 in something and that it would have made me crazy rich now.
Well, see, I don't even.
But even that changes who you are, right? So
it's one of those things where even the most mundane, arbitrary thing in your life led you to somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, okay, so here's my... I would pick changing one thing in my life, and the one thing that I would change in my life is I would go back and keep the Jeep that I had when I was in college. I'd still have it today.
Yeah.
That would be so stinking dope.
See, I would... Because when you're talking about, in one event in history... that is the implications of that are so much more vast than you would ever think.
Yeah, it changes everything.
And honestly, I think I'm with you, and it does have to do with a vehicle. I would talk my mom out of selling her 1985 Thunderbird.
Yeah.
It was black T-tops with the bird on the hood,
right.
the Smokey and the Bandit.
Yep.
Like I would talk her out of.
So like that's another one is like maybe talking my dad and granddad out of being so dumb and selling my uncle's Mach 1 Mustang for way cheaper than what they should have sold it for.
Yeah.
Like that'd be another one that I wouldn't mind going back and being like, listen, if you guys are going to sell it for that, I'll buy it off of you because I could sell it for 3 times the price. Yeah. That type of thing.
And it's like not even to have like the resale value, but like that is such an iconic car.
Yeah.
In
my gosh, man. For sure.
You know, it's one of those things where we were talking about the Fast and the Furious franchise that, you know, I only acknowledge it at 1 and 2 because I think for our generation, like
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
Not Tokyo Drift.
Which is technically in sequential order that actually happens like after episode or movie like 7 or 8 or something stupid, like, because it's out of order.
Is it really?
Yeah, because Han is in a lot of the other movies and Han dies in Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, okay. I see that.
But then Han is in the heist and things like that. But anyway.
Crazy.
But no, if they would have, and this is like how nerdy like I can be with some of my friends, it would have looked so much better if they would have paint swapped the Spider and the Evo. If the Evo would have been purple, and the Spider would have been green.
I'd agree with that.
Like I think it would have been cooler looking, aesthetic.
More appealing, in that sense. Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of how nerdy.
So that would be your one event in history that you would change.
I would find a way to buy the GTR 35.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like, because that is my ultimate dream car, is that R35 from that movie.
That's so good.
With the left-hand drive.
Yeah, I see that. I think mine, if like, and this is going to sound weird because I'm not a Ford fan at all, but Eleanor, gosh. If I could own just a prime Eleanor, gosh, that'd be so good. For those of you that maybe aren't like huge movie buffs,
go and watch it.
I was going to say, you should go watch Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
The car Eleanor in that one.
Peak
all the
Cage.
cars have names, and Eleanor is like my goodness, what a beautiful car.
The blacked out H1 that they boosted.
Yeah.
With the snake in it.
Now there's so many cars in that movie that I would just absolutely love to have. But Eleanor is like, man, what a phenomenal.
So would
Mustang.
that be your one movie car or TV show car that you would want?
That's a hard one, man. I'd have to think like real in depth about what's like the one iconic car that I would want to go after, because like. Isn't it a Chevelle that John Wick has at the beginning of his movies that the guys like steal from him?
Is it
I can't remember
Chevelle
if it's Chevelle or I can't. That's what I can't remember. Maybe it's Camaro. That was a beautiful car.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of like movie cars that I would like just love to have.
I think Kit would be fun.
Kit would be fun. Kit would be fun if Kit had all of his powers.
Yeah, if Kit was kitted out.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as just straight up car, it is kind of hard to beat Eleanor. Like for the looks and the power combo, like just what a monster of a car.
Okay, so you get Eleanor, I get the 35R, and we'll just see who's faster.
Sure. Yeah, I'm down for that race all day. All right, let's fire this bad boy off. I got something fun to talk to you about in our main part of today's episode. So, good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Josh.
Recognize me? No? Well, I'm Josh.
I got suspended from school because of Josh.
You could be there with me in every way imaginable, Josh.
Josh is truly in a trance, yes.
I went to high school with Josh, and I can tell you right now, he's a terrific kisser.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Josh, these are people's jobs we're talking about, Josh.
Josh walking in the door wasn't even close.
Josh, you are a muffin-snuggling pirate puncher.
Josh, he's a good guy. We can talk to him.
Please welcome Joshua. Josh.
One of these days we'll have to get a recording of Josh and I just doing our little dances too. Josh chose the Macarena on that one. I was going for like all the typical like
dad dances,
at the weddings. So we were having fun with that.
But the Macarena is such a versatile dance to any song.
As long as you can keep rhythm, man, it's right on every time.
Every single time.
That one and the church clap, if you know how to do it, but church clap's a little more like physically involved.
Refer to our previous episode of
Yeah, physical things we can't do anymore.
CrossFit, trampoline parks.
Yeah, we do one round of doing the church clap along with the song and can't move the next day. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was gonna say, I think I have a video of Mason doing the church clap in the blow up dinosaur costume.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that's like the last lock-in that you and I helped out with when we stayed all night and stuff. There's all these leaders and kids are out there doing the church clap in the middle of the worship center, and you and I are at the DJ booth just keeping the songs rolling. Where we belong as the 30 and 40 something year olds,
seasoned veterans.
That's right.
30 something. By now I'm 40.
Yeah, that's right. By the time this episode comes out, but for you listeners out there, he'll be 40 years old. Yeah. So, hey, welcome, man.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah,
it's been all downhill from here since 30.
I like to think that nowadays, because the life expectancy now is back up to 80, and so agreed. But with life expectancy being where it's at, 40 is the top of the hill. You're surveying everything and getting the good views and all that good stuff. It's when you get to like 50 that the speed is starting to pick up, I think.
Can I honestly say though that I think that millennials have aged the best?
100%. There's no doubt about it, dude. Like, have you the number of people? This is gonna sound so bad, but the number of people that recently I have introduced my wife to, and then they've met our daughter, who is, for anybody that doesn't know, our daughter is 14 years old. She's now taller than most adults that she's around.
Right.
And so they meet Brooke, they meet our daughter, and they look at Brooke and go, there's no way you're old enough to have a kid that size.
Like, if I would shave my beard, I would probably look in my 20s.
You and I both, right?
Yeah.
Because all the white that's in my beard right now, that's what everybody points to. Like, I have a lot of people tell me, they're like, if you didn't have so much white in your beard, you'd look a lot younger. I'm like, well, duh.
Yeah.
But this is wisdom coming out. Like, hey, let's hang on to it.
Stress.
So, but combination of everything, right? Like, I used to name my gray hairs on the side of my head after like students in the youth ministry, my family members and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And now it's gotten to the point where if I was going to try to name them all, there aren't enough human beings on the planet.
Right.
So I want to jump into this topic, if you will, by taking us through a little bit of an exercise.
We just talked about how we don't do exercising.
This is a mental exercise. Oh, okay. We're still good on that.
I'm screwed.
So I want you to just kind of imagine with me now.
Imagine, if you will.
We are back in. I'm trying to remember like what date. Let's just say
Wednesday.
It was always Wednesday. But let's just say this is like mid 70s.
Okay.
We walk into just a local pub, like a bar type place. Over in England, right?
Okay. So yeah, walking into a pub, warm beer.
Yeah, they got their warm beers,
chips, food,
chips, which are fries. Like all the wrong namings of things and stuff like that. Biscuits, which are cookies.
Yeah,
the whole nine. So we walk in. There's a bunch of people kind of around. We look behind the bar, and there's the barkeep, who's the owner of the place, who's hanging out and stuff, and just kind of, he's serving his drinks, but having conversation with people and stuff. And so we go in, we find a table, we order some food and stuff like that. They bring it out to us, and so we're sitting there eating all the nasty English food that has no flavor and stuff.
Bland and.
And so we're chilling there and doing this, and all of a sudden we hear a conversation going on at a table behind us.
Okay.
And one man says, no, that's impossible. And
what's impossible?
Oh, so it piques our interest, and we're kind of like, oh, what is this guy talking about? It's impossible. And the other man says, no, I swear that over a long enough distance, a human could beat a horse in a race. What would your reaction be to hearing that?
No.
No?
No, because my mind would go to the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, all of those. Those are...
But there's short races. And it's one giant lap around the Kentucky Derby track, right? Is all those horses are racing.
But...
That's what he's saying.
But it's not necessarily a race of speed in this instance. It's a race of endurance.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you could keep
and a consideration of terrain, right?
Yeah.
So what are we covering, and how long is it, and all that kind of stuff.
And at what pace are we going?
Well, I mean, the pace is fast as you can go. because it's all about.
Because I mean, technically, if you could run faster than a cheetah, you could run longer than a cheetah, because they can achieve 60 miles an hour, but in
for like 45 seconds.
Yeah, in a very short,
burst. Yeah. So I mean, so we hear these guys arguing and stuff like that. Let's just say, like, okay, we're sitting at the other table, but we kind of hear it, and one of them leans over and goes, "All right, you guys, what do you think? Man versus horse. Do you think a man could ever beat a horse in a race?" And you're saying no.
I'm saying no.
Okay. I'm saying maybe.
Okay.
Because I mean, I'm just thinking like, okay, yes, horses are on just a flat track, right? For a short distance, there's no question whatsoever. Horse is just absolutely demolishing a man. It's not even close.
Yeah. So we're not talking from like point A to point B. It's point A till whenever you stop.
No. It's point A to point B.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. It's a race. I mean, there's a start line and a finish line.
I'm still saying no. Like, a man can't beat a horse.
So this whole conversation that we're now like getting into this debate of is a real conversation that was had in a real pub. And so let me see if I can get. So it was actually in 1980s when this started. So the local landlord, Gordon Green, who owned a pub of his own, overheard this discussion happening between two patrons in his pub. One man suggested that over a significant distance across the countryside, right? So hills, valleys, rivers, streams, all that kind of stuff.
Julie Andrews.
Yeah, exactly. You got to run over Julie Andrews on the way. But this man was arguing in his pub that over a significant distance over countryside, that a man was equal to a horse. Was his
equal to?
Yeah, equal to it. But he's saying like it's a 50-50 shot. Like, who wins the race in that, right? Like, so he's saying that man has a shot. Man can beat a horse.
But the question was yes or no, not maybe.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't giving you maybe on that. I want to see what side you fall on. You got to give me a definitive answer.
I'm still definitively on no.
Okay. So Gordon Green, who is the pub owner, right? Here's this whole discussion. He joins in. These guys talk it out and stuff like that. And Green decides, well, the only real way to ever know this for sure is to
actually do it.
Actually do it. And so he started, like, organized the first public man versus horse marathon. Yep.
Marathon?
And this is a real thing that, mind you, continues till today. This is not a thing that just happened once. This is a real thing that takes place every single year. So this is
like the cheese rolling down the hill kind of thing. That's like a dumb thing that just continued on.
We might say it's dumb. I think when you hear a lot of these things, you're going to start feeling a little differently about this race.
Okay.
So this is an annual race that covers 21 miles or 34 kilometers if you're weird. But it has runners, just human beings, competing against riders on horseback through a mix of road, trail, and mountainous terrains. The race is a shorter distance than an official marathon, right? Because the official marathon is 26.2 miles.
Right.
So this one's only 21 miles. But even though it's shorter than it's a legitimate race. It takes place. The first one, like where it's been held since its inception, is in the Welsh town of, and I'm going to butcher this, Llanwrtyd Wells, and it happens every June, like every year. There's a man versus horse marathon.
Okay, so I guess the one caveat that I didn't think of is that there would be actual people on said horses.
Yeah, there's jockeys on them. But, I mean, because you can't determine where the horses go,
right?
Unless you got somebody steering them and stuff like that. So, but there's like legit horse jockeys riding horses, and then there are men, and starting in 1981, women running. So the first year was all men, right, competing against horses. Second year, a woman joined in. In 1982, they actually changed the route of like the course a little bit to make it a more even match between the competitors, because in 80 and 81 the horses like obviously just demolished. And one of the things they took into consideration after talking with Green, who was in on the initial conversation, was he was like, well, a big point of contention was about the terrain, right? What do they have to cover? And so they were like, okay, so let's figure out how to make the terrain part of it a little bit more, evenly matched in that sense. And so in 1985, they began to allow cyclists, like bicycles, to compete in this, which the cyclist part of it has been kind of like a non-starter for them. Like, it was never the type of thing where they were like, oh yeah, the cyclists we really care about in that sense. They just allowed them because a bunch of people were like, hey, we ride bikes, can we jump in on this too?
Oh, bike riders.
That year, the U.S. ladies champion cyclist, which was Jackie Fallon, narrowly lost to the first horse. So she still lost the race, but she was, like they said, it was really close. In 1989, the British cyclist Tim Gould beat the first horse by 3 minutes. So that was the first time that a horse had been beaten in the race, was in 89. The first time the horse was beaten, that was the first time it was beaten by a human in the race. Bicycles were allowed up until 1993, when they were banned, and it went back to simply being running men and women versus horses with jockeys. So in 2024, the 25th race, and here it is, was won by HUW, I'm guessing it's pronounced Hugh, Lobb, in 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 19 seconds. It was the first time that a man racing on foot won the race, and thereby won the prize fund of $25,000, or 25,000 euros technically, which had been growing $1,000 each year from the race's inception until it was claimed by a winning runner. So the only way you win the prize money is if you're an actual, like, on foot human being and you beat all the horses and stuff like that. And this guy in 2004 beat all the horses and won as a human being racing against horses.
So that was the first time?
That was the first time. So its inception was 1980, 2004. So 24 years later was the first time that a human being won the race. So that year's race also saw the highest ever number of competitors. There were 500 runners versus 40 horses with jockeys on them. This feat was repeated in 2007 when human competitors outpaced the first horse competitor by almost 11 minutes.
Wow.
So they smoked him. I was trying to look down some of the other things. So in 2009, the 2009 race was marred by controversy when organizers deducted time spent in the vet checks from the horse times in addition to the 15 minutes for the delayed start of the horses. So apparently there was some kind of, I don't know, a bunch of like hoopla around like what they were doing for, like, trying to make things even, I guess, or whatever. The deduction of this additional time enabled the horse to triumph by 8 minutes instead of being defeated by 2 minutes. So,
so they took account for
time that the horses had to be like checked over or whatever. Like if they had to stop in for like a vet or whatever and stuff, if they got a hurt hoof or something along those lines. I don't know. So,
I mean, no sense beating a dead horse.
Yeah, well, there you go. I was trying to see.
I've been sitting on that one.
Yeah, that was good. Let's see. Organizers reverted to previously followed rules in 2010. However, in 2010, a horse still won, even though they went back to the old rules of like timing and stuff like that. The 2011 event featured a number of very good riders and horses competing, and the wet track conditions favored horses over runners, but some very good times were recorded by the front runners of the humans. The winning rider was Betty Gordon, riding next in line at Grangeway. That's the horse's name. Next in line at Grangeway. I know.
Can we just talk about how dumb horse names are?
Yeah. Like sometimes you get Seabiscuit and it's fine.
Which is fine.
Then sometimes you get these ones that just like, listen, you don't have to tell us who the sire was, who the mare was, what town they're from, and some random fact about them all in their name. We don't need that.
Like, horse names are the ultimate Mad Libs. It's just like, give me a noun, give me a verb, give me a place, give me a person.
Yeah. Well, it's like, throw all these words in the box and shake it up and just dump them out, and let's see what order they land in. That's what we're going to call the horse. Anyways, the top runner in that race in 2011 was Charlie Pearson from London. So anyways, I won't go through all of them and stuff, but the human winners of the race have been Hugh Lobb in 2004.
Okay.
And then Florian Halsinger in 2007. In 2022, so they didn't compete in 2020 or 2021. Thank you, COVID.
Yeah.
But 2022, a human won. His name was Ricky Lightfoot, which, by the way, best name you could have if you're going to be the runner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a human won in 2022, a human won in 2023, Daniel Connolly, and in 2025, Dewey Griffiths. Which, by the way, way too close to Stewie Griffith.
Yeah, but it's Griffin.
Griffin. But he won the race in 2025. So humans have actually been like kind of like since 2019, when that was a horse won in 2019. We were off for 2020 and 2021. 2022 and 23, a human won, a horse won in 24, and then a human won in 25. And so I also want to mention this. What I just told you are only the Welsh race.
Wait, there's more?
There's more. Since the inception of this, over time, there have been other man versus horse races. One is in Scotland. It's based at Dors, which is near Loch Ness. Another one is in central North Island in New Zealand. And then the fourth race that was added in, Prescott, Arizona. So there's one in the U.S.
Why would you? I still say we go to the one in Scotland.
Oh, dude. It would take very, very, very little convincing for me to go to any of these. I would love to be present for one of the man versus horses marathons. I wonder
if any of our friends would actually participate.
Would run in it?
Yeah.
Scott Haynes is our only hope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the only one that's got the endurance and the speed to be able to hopefully pull it off. But I can imagine, like, Scott Haynes is most of the time he's like right around a 7-minute mile when he's running like marathons and stuff like that. I can only imagine that these guys are doing this, especially because it's a lot of hill running and things along those lines.
Right.
They've got to be like just crazy good shape. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they have pictures. It's kind of small, but there's a picture from the 2006 of a man leading a horse in the marathon and stuff like that.
Like, I think it has to come down at that point to endurance, really, because it's not a full out sprint. Because I was thinking more of like a point A to point B sprint, like a race,
right,
rather than a marathon. Which, I mean, it's still a race, but not a traditional sense of the race, where you're trying to go flat out and things like that. But I don't know. Again, it's one of those things that I would want to go and watch this race. Mm-hmm. But again, it begs up like why I would never go to like an F1 race or like a Le Mans race or things like that, because you're kind of stuck in one spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Even like a rally race,
you don't get to see the whole thing in that sense.
Yeah,
I think that for what it's worth, I would want to be at the start line, hop in a car, and be at the finish line. Right? Like, I want to see it. I want to see everybody take off, like what that looks like.
Right.
And then I want to see as they come across and stuff. And so, the Arizona man versus horse race for this year, let me make sure I got this right, is happening in October.
Aww.
Yeah, it's October 17th, my uncle's birthday, this year in Prescott, Arizona.
Dude, if you would have said June, like the first week of June,
when you're going to be there,
when I was going to be there, I was like, I'm going to go.
That'd be so sick.
Like, we have a car rented, and then my dad put me on the other driver,
and
I'm
driver
like,
on it.
I'd be like,
listen.
we're going to see something really stupid.
Glad we're here with family. Love you guys very much. I got to go
Let's
see.
all go.
Yeah.
It's a big
Bring your green
Yukon,
hat.
so let's go.
Yeah, get in the car. We're going to go see men racing horses.
Get in the cars, losers. We're going to go see horses versus people.
So I was looking to see as well, like for the Arizona one. Yeah, it doesn't say on here like whether it was like horses, like who won. I was looking to see if they had whether it was a horse or a man that won each year and stuff. So, but it doesn't say on here.
Huh.
But yeah,
that's kind of cool. Like, so we've had equine dominance over the course of it, but the humans are starting to claw their way back.
It certainly seems like that, and you can only think that like between the advances in training, the advances in like the shoes and things along those lines, there's got to be like a combination of a number of different things that are making it so that the human beings are able to.
But then that begs the
advance.
question: like, how do the horses train?
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing about it. I can only imagine that to some degree that these are just horses that have like that, you know, their practice is basically that they go out and ride trails and stuff like that on a regular basis. And so they have some conditioning, but I don't think that there's like necessarily
because they have that natural aptitude of
it's like
covering distances.
A horse is not like a human being where we have to train for forever to get to that point.
Yeah.
Like your average horse, even if it's kind of lazy, you can go out and take it for a couple miles worth of riding and it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
You know, you take into consideration then a horse that is at least on like moderate exercise most of the time and stuff like that. You know, I think that they're probably not. At least I would hope that there's not like a training regimen for the horses, because if they have guys that are like, I'm training this horse specifically for the man versus horse marathon, to kick human beings' butts, that seems kind of shady. First off, Second off, I don't like, according to at least the one that's the Welsh race, the horses don't win any money for it. It's only if a human wins. So
what do they get? Like a big carrot and a wreath or something?
Probably. So there's $1,000 every year that a human doesn't win that's put into a pot, and then when a human wins, they win all of the money that's stacked since the last time that a human won. And so like recently, you know, I would imagine that it's just been like there was the one guy won a pretty decent chunk of money from the last time that a human had won. The next year, a guy won, so he only got $1,000.
Right.
There's the horse won the next year, and then the most recent winner that was a human got $2,000.
Yeah.
So you would think that it's like it's not a huge incentive in that sense, but I mean, you get some bragging rights, man, to be one of like 5 people, maybe 6 that I named off of that list.
Yeah,
that were the humans that have won. I'm one of 5 humans that beat a horse, beat 40 horses in a race. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Not something that I would ever even aspire to do.
No.
But like I said, I want to go watch the race. I think man, can you imagine we tailgate before the man versus horse race? We're out there cooking chicken wings and drinking Sundrop and stuff and just hanging out, and they fire it off and stuff, and then we just pack everything up and drive to the finish line and see celebrate whoever comes across first and stuff. That'd be great.
That would be great.
Put some wagers on which horse do you think is going to win, and then which human do you think is going to cross the finish line first.
Oh, I'm sure there's
and then do a 50-50 on
human or horse.
Human versus horse, who's going to win it. Gosh, it'd be great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I know, for all the derbies and things like that, there's age restrictions on the horses.
Yeah.
Whether it's a mare or a foal and things like that. So.
Right. I think that was one, either Ninjas or it was Things I Learned Last Night that I initially heard of this on. And they kind of told the story of it and stuff. And but I was like, man, what a fascinating concept and stuff. That should be something that we do more of, is figuring out, I want to know if a human being can beat an ostrich in a long distance race,
right?
Because they have those ostriches that people ride.
Yeah, I was thinking like a camel.
Camel?
What the difference would be with a camel?
I feel like a camel's got to be way slower than the horse, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they're
more durable, but slower.
But the strides are longer, and they're faster than you think they are.
Sure, elephant could be a fun one.
Yeah. Giraffe.
Elephants aren't known for distance running. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, a giraffe. Can you imagine a giraffe with a jockey on its back? And it's like,
where would the reins be? Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's like,
it's like one of those.
You put a bit in a giraffe's mouth, and he's got like reins that are just like 12
it's like
feet
the
long.
comically high handlebar motorcycle.
He's got ape hangers on a giraffe. Gosh, that's funny. But like, you start thinking through all the different animals, like you said, like a cheetah, right?
Yeah.
So a cheetah over short distances
is
incredibly fast.
Yeah, is clocking a human.
But what if we go long distance and stuff like that? If a cheetah just set out at a good trot, could it beat a human being and stuff? And so like, there's all kinds of fun animals out there. I think that we could test out and see. Like, we need to start marathons for and base it off of the animal, right? So for like a cheetah, it's a 5K.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing, we know a cheetah's not going to run 21 miles, but if we set up a 5K that had like fences where the cheetah was like directed and couldn't get outside of it, and you had to run alongside of it outside of the fence or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you're following the same terrains and everything. Could a human beat a cheetah if it was over like a 3 point something mile distance?
Yeah.
Just fun things like that. It'd be cool to kind of like, I mean, I'm sure that people have tested some of these theories out, but like, this is the first time that I've ever heard of something that goes to
an
like
actual application of.
Yeah, it's like a real world application, and it's full scale, right? So like, it's 40 horses versus however many humans want to enter the race, 500 humans on one of them.
Right.
And so like, when you start taking it to that scale, you're really getting a good like sample group. So it's not like this is just a one-off thing, and that was either a fat and slow cheetah or a really good human. Like, you can't just say like, oh, it's just a one-off. You're like, no, we have what, 40 something years of
documented
testing? And humans are starting to win more often, which means like, clearly humans are getting better. So all kinds of stuff like that. I just think it's fascinating.
So sticking with the tail end of that conversation, sticking in the feline family.
Oh, okay. I thought you could say the horse's tail.
No.
The feline family.
Have you ever heard of Unsinkable Sam?
I don't know why that sounds.
I know I've mentioned it to
familiar.
you. I've asked you this before.
Unsinkable Sam. I mean, it's weird that you said it goes like along the feline thing, because I'm like, my immediate thing was like, boat, submarine, something along those lines. No, I don't think I know what Unsinkable Sam is.
So this story takes us all the way back to World War II.
Okay, we love World War II.
In World War II, the Atlantic is a miserable place to be.
Yeah,
the ships are basically steel coffins. The seas are angry. It smells like fuel, salt, and bad decisions.
Yep.
Maritime warfare and things like that. Mm-hmm. And somewhere on a distant warship, there's a cat.
Okay. All right.
So,
sure.
Not just any cat, a cat who may or may not have survived 3 ship sinkings.
Wow.
Outlived multiple crews and somehow became a legend on both sides of World War II.
A cat?
Yes.
Which traditionally
is a common thing for naval vessels. Back in that era.
Right. Well, they wanted them to make sure they killed any rats and stuff that got on board, because they would eat their food and everything.
Even going back to pirate and old maritime, cats were a very unthought of but a regular occurrence on any seafaring.
Well, what's really comical about that is that like traditionally cats are not friendly to water.
Right.
Like, there's I love watching, like, Sky watches a lot of those videos from Daily Dose of Internet where he like shows animals, like funny videos and stuff. And the ones where like, like the person's in the bathtub and
the
like
cat's like trying to paw and it
falls in and stuff like that. And they freak out, dude. Like, cats hate getting in the water. So it's just very funny that in particular, there's a cat that survived 3 sinkings and still allowed people to put him back on the boat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah. So this cat is affectionately known as Unsinkable Sam, or Oscar, depending on where.
Okay. They named him after Oscar, who kayaked his way from Germany all the way down there.
Actually, it was the same time, so he could have had a cat on his kayak.
It's the same cat.
It actually
is. This cat just literally refuses to die. He's like 9 lives? Yeah, or whatever. 81 for me, bud.
Yeah. So, because, of course, a cat with a military career that has at least 3 names and a backstory, that's half history, half rumor, and all cat attitude.
Jeez.
So, our legend starts that Sam started his life on a German battleship. You may or may not have heard it. It's a very well-known German battleship, the Bismarck.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, it's kind of something that you don't hear a cat on a battleship.
Right.
If you're going to be a cat in the Navy, why not start on the giant floating fortress that is the Bismarck?
Right, yeah.
So,
I mean, you know, if you want some clout as a cat, that's a pretty good post to get first off.
The Bismarck was a monster of a ship. It was the pride of the German fleet. Huge, dangerous, extremely expensive, and it was a force in the Atlantic. Mm-hmm. It goes out to the North Atlantic and immediately gets into a situation that can only be described as it's about to have a very bad week.
Yeah.
So the British hunt it down. The battle gets messy. The ship is crippled and eventually sinks. Mm-hmm. This is where the story picks up. So the legend says that after the ship goes down, British sailors spot a black and white cat floating on the wreckage. So it survived the sinking of the Bismarck and is found.
Yeah, so it finds a piece of debris from the ship, climbs on top of it, and is just kind of like
so basically
freaking
just a cat out in the middle of the sea, wet, furious, and somehow still giving that cat judgment. Like, are you gonna save me or what?
You wonder like right off the bat, was this cat like full blood German to where when he saw the British coming towards him, he's like, you know, he's ready to attack and stuff, or is he just like, thank goodness somebody else is here to get me?
Again, if you've ever seen a cat after a bath, you already know that the emotional state that we're talking about
is anger.
Yeah, just
anger embodied. I've already said that I believe that cats are the pets of the devil.
Oh yeah,
and we've talked about how much we don't like them in the past and stuff like that. But you think about a cat like wet is one of the angriest creatures on the face of the planet.
So the British ship rescues him, and at least according to the story, they name him Oscar. Okay. So, which is kind of a funny name for a cat that just survived a sinking ship.
Yeah.
It sounds less military mascot and more like a guy who runs a hardware store and complains about his taxes. Historically, this is where things start to get a little fuzzy. So this is like the most concrete of the legend of Unsinkable Sam as we can get. So there's evidence that a cat named Oscar was rescued from the HMS Ark Royal and a museum in I know it's Greenwich, but is it Greenwich in Europe?
I think it's Greenwich.
It is Greenwich
in Europe because it's Greenwich Mean Time comes from that.
Yeah. Okay. So in Greenwich has a portrait and a description tying the story together. So there is actual corroborating evidence for a cat that was rescued off of the Bismarck
this isn't
and
just
put
like
on the Ark Royal.
Random story they got told by sailors and stuff like that. This is like
legit.
They've got pictures and stuff. That's crazy.
So there is some tangible evidence to this. So the cat is real, the legend is real, and the paperwork is not necessarily as neat as the legend wants it to be. Mm-hmm. So, but that's kind of what makes the story better and kind of delves us into the legend status.
Yeah.
So, after the Bismarck rescue, the story says that Oscar ends up on the British destroyer, the HMS Corsic. The cat already allegedly goes from a German battleship to a British destroyer. So, already he's flipped sides.
Yeah.
So, that's the kind of career change that most humans can only imagine about. Mm-hmm. So, one day you're working for the enemy, the next day you're the morale officer for the British Navy. So... and on the destroyer, the cat has a job to do. Ship's cat, like we kind of said, were actually common, very common. Naval vessels had them for rat control, mouse control, and general crew morale.
General crew?
Yeah. So, and if you're trapped on a warship for weeks or months, a cat can become like a little bit of that feeling of home, that like kind of normalcy and things like that. A little bit of luck, not necessarily in this cat's instance, but
I was about to say.
And some entertainment. So cats are perfect for the Navy because they already have the attitude of a petty officer.
Petty being the keyword there, yeah.
The HMS Corsic gets torpedoed in 1941. The ship's badly damaged, the crew's in trouble, and the legend says that the cat survives yet again.
Gosh.
If you're one of the sailors, you might start asking some questions like, is this cat really good to have on our ship?
Well, so my hypothesis that I'm already working with is that this cat is actually like a quadruple agent, and he intentionally sunk those boats.
Yeah, he's
for the different sides.
He's a super soldier.
They're like, listen,
so
we'll give you all the catnip you can stand if you'll.
We will give you all the catnip you can have.
You sink the British boats.
You sink the ship, and come back to us. Good kitty cat.
I just love this.
So
he finally gets back to Hades, and Satan's like, "Well done, my pet. Good."
So again, they're not asking practical questions like why is the ship flooding, but more philosophical questions like why is this cat still alive?
Yeah,
is it protecting us? Is it cursed? Should we be taking advice from it? Like,
right.
So
that's a black and white cat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, because after the second sinking, the cat stops being just a cat and becomes a personality. That's where the Unsinkable Sam starts to kind of fit in and take hold. So, it survives let's be honest, if a cat survives one shipwreck, that's luck. 2, it's kind of a pattern. And if it survives 3, the Navy looks into whether the cat is actually is commanding one of the ships. Mm-hmm. So, now we get to the part of the story that makes this the legend. After the Corsic, the cat is said to have been transferred back to the Ark Royal. So it's an aircraft carrier. So we're talking a little bit more substantial,
bigger boat,
importance and things like that in the Navy. So if you have a cat that has been on the sinking of the biggest or the second largest destroyer
in the German Navy,
the biggest in the German, the second largest, I believe, next to the Yamamoto, because I think the Yamamoto was bigger. And then you have the Bismarck, which is the largest in the German Navy.
Right.
Then it goes on to the Corsic, and that sinks.
Yeah.
Why would you put him on an aircraft carrier?
Maybe we put this cat on a dinghy.
Maybe we put this cat on dry land.
The land sinks.
So after the Ark Royal, it survived that. The ship did not sink. So basically what happened is the cat retired.
Okay.
It's one of those things where
third time's the charm.
The next time, somebody thinks that cats are fragile or dramatic or useless, kind of think the Unsinkable Sam. Mm-hmm. So he allegedly survived 3 shipwrecks, a cat who bounced from German battleship to a British destroyer to an aircraft carrier. But eventually he retires to a long-term medical facility for sailors.
Yeah, for
so it kind of
veterans of the Navy.
Yeah, it kind of like a VFW or things like that. So he retires after that, and then obviously, like I said before, he has the picture, he has the plaque. I
looked at the picture. Have you seen it?
I think I did, but I don't have it in my notes.
This cat looks like he's been scarred. That's all I'm saying.
He's got shell shock.
Like you guys, if you're out there, we'll try to post this on our social media, but you should take an opportunity to look it up and see what Unsinkable. Just type in Unsinkable Sam on Google. The first picture that comes up is priceless. The cat is like, he has that look in his eyes of, I have seen some crap.
Stuff. Yeah, it's like if you look up pictures of soldiers who have been shell shocked.
Yeah,
that is exactly the expression.
Yeah, this cat's like, and then there's a second picture of him like kind of down below that he's got this look on his face like, can the whole world please just leave me alone?
Yeah. So where it kind of the myth and the blending of the truth, there was really a cat named Oscar that was associated with the Ark Royal. Mm-hmm. Contemporary and later sources do support the idea that a ship's cat survived the sinking and became known to the sailors, and the story was famous enough to survive in newspapers, museum records, and maritime folklore.
Yeah.
The chain isn't necessarily like coherent as far as like when it progressed to the 3 ships. Again, they're not 100% sure if it was actually the same cat or if it was just a similar looking cat. Yeah. But yeah, so it's one of those things where it's documented, and it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of like the little over embellishment.
Yeah.
If it is in the story that it did survive 3 different ships. Yeah. But I thought this was one of those kind of bizarre, cool stories, because I'd never heard of this.
That's crazy.
I'd never heard of it because I would just type in like random historical stories, like with the Great Emu War and the rabbits attacking.
That's how we
Napoleon.
find. Yeah, that's how we find most of these stories is just by going on. Like a lot of times, I'll just go on to ChatGPT and say, "Hey, could you find me like a list of just really interesting or funny historical events that happened?" And sometimes I'll give it like a guideline, within these years or whatever and stuff. And so it'll spit those things out. But yeah, like if guys, when you search for Unsinkable Sam, there's actually there's multiple pictures of this cat, and it's the same one because it has the same markings on his face and everything of like him with British Navy soldiers, him meeting looks like one of the higher ranking guys, going up the walkway onto one of the ships. In a box with a bunch of straw and stuff like that. So there's multiple shots of this cat at different places. So it's definitely a legitimate cat. Like now, whether he was on 3 different ships that went down, don't know. It seems to be based on everything I'm seeing. Like it's confirmed that he was at least on the German ship that sank, and then went on to was picked up by a British ship and spend his time with the British Navy for the rest of his life, basically. So that's crazy, though. That's an interesting story for a cat.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the Ark Royale, it was torpedoed by a German U-boat, and only one of them, one soldier on the Ark Royale was killed, and then it made its way back to Gibraltar. So this one didn't sink, but it was torpedoed.
Right. And there's actually a picture of that aircraft carrier when it got back to Gibraltar, leaning on its side listing from where it was hit from the torpedo and stuff. And somebody overlaid a picture of Sam in front of it with his eyes wide, like the picture we were talking about, where he's shell shocked. It's very funny. Yeah. So that's a cool story. I appreciate you sharing that with me. So. Yeah. Well, as we get ready to wrap up today, I'll take an opportunity, since Josh did it last time, to tell you guys about our link tree. So if you go to our link tree, it's in the description wherever you're listening to this app. It's also in all of our social media posts and stuff. If you follow the link tree, it'll take you to one place where you can find every link for everything that we use. So if you're looking for a place to listen to us, you can find it there. If you're looking for our social media pages, to be able to follow us on there so you can see more about these stories, you can interact with posts and things, we would love for you to do that. We'd also ask you just to take an opportunity to go ahead and make sure that you're following and liking on all the different social media pages. So do both the things. Make sure that you are setting your downloads so they're automatic for the podcast. Even if you don't get a chance to listen to it in a week, it being downloaded, it helps us out a lot in the algorithms and stuff. And then also just making sure that you guys take the time to go and comment. So when we talk about today's would you rather question, when you consider the man versus horse marathon thing, if you know somebody that you think could beat a horse in a race, comment their name or reach out to them and try to get them to Arizona. That'd be great. Right. And then let us know what you think about Unsinkable Sam. Hopefully we'll be able to put up a post of this picture that we found of him because it's priceless. He's just got a great look on his face for a cat that's been through some crap. Exactly. But otherwise, we hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. We will see you back here next week in episode number 18 for season 2. We love you guys very much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
It's so funny when you look at measurements of displacement and things like that. For a long ton, which is actually less than a regular ton. I don't understand why.
You know what weighs a long ton?
Your mom.